Welcome to today's Tea Time audio story. It's time to slow down, take a deep breath, and enjoy a moment just for you. As you sip your favorite tea, let your mind drift into the world of stories, where imagination comes alive and anything is possible. Listening to audio stories isn't just entertaining, it's also a wonderful way to relax, spark creativity, and improve your English in a natural and enjoyable way. Stories have the power to transport us to far-off places, introduce us to new characters, and remind us of life's little lessons. So whether you're here to unwind, learn something new, or simply enjoy a quiet escape, this is your time. Get comfortable, let your worries melt away, and allow today's story to take you on a journey. Let the magic begin. Food had been an enemy for so long. A battlefield of guilt and control, hunger and shame. For years, Leanna had viewed every bite through a lens of fear, each meal a calculation of worth, a measure of discipline. But now, she was ready to rewrite that story. To find joy again. To nourish, not punish. To choose love over fear. It began with something simple. A meal with Noah, laughter shared over plates of fresh pasta and warm bread. There was no counting, no restraint out of fear. Only the comfort of conversation and flavors that warmed her from the inside out. Afterward, walking hand in hand along quiet streets, she said softly, "I forgot food could be like that. Easy. Happy." Noah smiled. It should be. It should be joyful, nourishing, a celebration, not a punishment. Leanna let the words settle, deep and sure. And for the first time in a long time, she wanted to believe them. She started experimenting at home. Cooking meals not for control but for comfort. Trying new recipes, tasting new flavors. She found joy in the act of creating, in the sizzle of spices, the warmth of the oven, the rich aroma of herbs filling her kitchen. She learned to savor again. To slow down. To taste each bite. To let food be an experience, not a calculation. And it felt like freedom. But it wasn't easy. The old fears lingered. The voice that whispered doubt. That questioned her hunger, her choices. She brought it to Claire, laid the fear bare. "I'm scared of letting go," she admitted. "Of losing control. Of going back." Claire nodded, her gaze kind. "But you're not the person you were. And control isn't the same as nourishment. You can trust yourself. Trust your body." It wasn't an instant cure, but it was a start. A seed planted, ready to grow. Leanna began writing, documenting her journey. At first, it was private. Journal entries about meals that made her feel good, about fears that still haunted her. She wrote about the first time she let herself eat without guilt, about the night she shared dessert with Noah and didn't count the consequences but counted the laughter instead. And then, slowly, she shared it. A post online, simple and honest. About food. About fear. About finding her way back to joy. And the response was overwhelming. Messages poured in. Strangers, friends, people who had battled the same fears, the same struggles. People who longed for permission to love food again. To love themselves again. And Leanna realized that her story wasn't just her own. It was theirs too. A shared struggle. A shared hope. So she started a blog. She called it Nourish, a word that meant healing, growth, love. It became a space where she shared recipes and reflections, fears and triumphs. She wrote about learning to trust her hunger, about finding strength in softness, about how food could be a friend again. She didn't pretend it was easy. She wrote about the setbacks, about the days when fear still crept in, about the times she doubted her body and her worth. But she also wrote about hope, about progress, about how far she'd come. And people listened. They shared their stories, their victories and their losses, their fears and their courage. It became more than a blog. It became a community. A place where shame fell away and love grew in its place. She wrote about the small joys, savoring ripe summer fruits, learning to bake bread that filled her home with warmth, gathering friends for dinners filled with laughter and stories. She documented the big moments too, the first time she ate dessert without guilt, the first day she looked at a plate of food and saw nourishment instead of fear. And each post became a testament to her growth, to the joy she was finding again. She even started hosting small gatherings, inviting friends and strangers from the community to share meals. She cooked with love, with freedom, letting food be a celebration. Stories were shared over plates passed from hand to hand. Laughter echoed in her kitchen, and for the first time in years, it felt like home. But more than the food, it was the connection that nourished her. The understanding. The shared vulnerability. They talked about struggles, about self-worth, about learning to see food as love and life, not as the enemy. Leanna listened, and she shared. She saw courage in their honesty, and it fueled her own. With every post, Leanna felt herself healing too, rewriting her own story. One meal, one word at a time. She learned to embrace food as joy, as tradition, as nourishment. She wrote about Sunday mornings with warm pancakes, about quiet evenings with soup simmering on the stove, about sharing meals with friends and laughter that filled her kitchen. She learned to celebrate her body for its strength, for its resilience, for carrying her through every battle, every fear, every victory. And she learned that her worth was never tied to what she ate, or how she looked, but to the love she gave, to herself, to others. Noah supported her every step, cheering her on, cooking beside her, sharing stories and meals and memories. Together, they created new traditions, new joy. "You're helping so many people," he said one night, as they sat side by side, reading through comments on her latest post. "And I hope you know you're helping yourself too." And she did. She felt it in the warmth of her kitchen, in the words she wrote, in the quiet peace that came from knowing she had reclaimed something she thought she'd lost forever. Food was joy. Food was life. Food was love. And Leanna was finally free to taste it all. She had rewritten her story. And in doing so, she was helping others write theirs too. And perhaps, that was the greatest nourishment of all. Thank you for joining today's Tea Time story. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of imagination and storytelling. Whether it made you smile, sparked a new thought, or simply gave you a moment to relax, we're grateful to have shared this time with you. Thank you for listening and being part of our story time. Keep dreaming, keep imagining, and we'll see you again for another magical tale soon. Until next time, take care and happy listening.